Hello everyone, I'm Woman International Master Knarik and I'm using the chesswithknarik.com website to record this video. And I would also like to talk to you about the chess.ie website. It's a new platform that we're working on and you can join also to learn chess and improve your chess skills. Now, in today's video, I want to show you a new miniature, and in this miniature with the white pieces playing is one of the earliest world champions, Emanuel Lasker. The game is played more than 100 years ago. And in this game, white played the pawn to d4 and black played the pawn to f5. Now, this is called the Dutch defense when black plays like this. Okay, it's not very popular, but still many players still play the Dutch defense. And here, white played the knight to c3, and the reason is to support the pawn push to e4 and the control of the center. So when black played pawn to e6, white did push the pawn to e4, and after the trade, now white has knight in the center. Now black tried, of course, to remove that knight from the center, also developed a piece, knight to f6. If we want to keep our knight in the center, we can pin the knight. So Emanuel Lasker played bishop to g5, pinning the knight on f6, and black unpinned the knight by playing the bishop to e7, developing a new piece and making castling now let's say easy for black as well. But here there is a threat, of course, because the knight is unpinned. They want to capture our knight on e4. So what to do? If we want to keep our knight in the center, which we want, white decided to trade the bishop for the knight to keep the e4 knight on the center. Now, after that, white played the knight to f3, black castled, and white developed the bishop to d3. Now, this is a bishop that's indirectly already aiming at the black's king, a castled king. So, black played the pawn to b6, trying to develop also the bishop on c8 to b7. White played the knight to e5. Here, black played the bishop to b7, and white joined the attack with the queen to h5. Now here already we have different threats. For example, a threat here by white is because the queen is attacking the h7 square and the bishop is indirectly attacking the h7 square. It means that if the knight is removed from the e4 square, we will be able to capture h7. So for example, a threat for white would be to capture the bishop on f6 with a check, because then by gaining time, we're removing our knight and then we can capture h7 right away. With whatever black captures on f6, we will be able to capture h7, and in some of the lines, it's also checkmate. So here, black decided to defend against that threat of knight capturing f6 and played the queen to e7. Now, how come queen to e7 stops the threat of knight capturing on f6 and then white capturing on h7? Because now black can capture with g7 and the queen is defending, the black queen is defending the h7 square. Also, the pawn is attacking our attacking knight. So going back, queen to e7 is trying to defend against the threats that white had. But here, exactly this position, you can find it in many tactical books and in different actually chapters that have different motives, let's say tactical motives, because it's a very beautiful continuation here that Emanuel Lasker played in his game and won in a very beautiful way. And he extracted the black king, so that's one of the motives, tactical motives. He extracted the black king, got it out of its safe square by sacrificing the queen on h7. And after this sacrifice, okay, it's forced for black to capture, of course. And here there is the double check, which is a very powerful motive, again, tactical motive in chess, a double check. Here, the black king must move. Whenever there is a double check in chess, the opponent's king must move, because we cannot block two checks, or we cannot capture two checks at the same time in chess. So the only way for our opponent to stop a double check is to move the king away to a safe square. And here, king to h8, of course, does not work because there is checkmate in one move, which is knight to g6. So going back, black played the other alternative here, which is moving the king to h6. And now here, uh, we can start chasing the black king with the different pieces that we have. And whenever we can, we need to include new pieces in the attack. For example, here, our knight checked. Black king's only move is to g5. I should try to include new pieces in my attack. For example, here, with the h4 pawn, I check. King's only move is f4. I try to use new pieces in my attack. G3 pawn, the pawn to g3. King's only move is f3. Here, there's mate in two moves. For example, if we look at the black king and see where are the safe squares that this black king can move to, it's only g2. G2 is the only safe square. So if I just play a move that takes away the g2 square, for example, just king f1, next I will have different checkmates. For example, knight to h2 will be checkmate, right? Also, the knight to e5 is going to be checkmate, right? So king to f1 would have been checkmate in two moves. That's the shortest one here. But also what was played in the game was also beautiful. Played in the game was bishop e2. King moved to g2, the only square. And rook checked from h2. And when the king moves to g1, here there is checkmate in one move. Of course, you could just move your king away, and your rook on a1 is going to checkmate, but with a discovered check. But of course, much lovelier here is to, to checkmate in one move. Exactly, again with the rook that's on a1, but by doing a long castle, and that's checkmate. If you notice, this is, let's say, this was a very wonderful tactic, and because what happened with the black king was it was on g8. It was extracted with the queen sacrifice to uh, h7, and then from h7 move to h6, and then to g5, and then to f4, and then to g3, and then to g2, and then to g1, and with a lovely long castle, the king was checkmated.